Infinite Poop. You are watching Infinite Poop. Infinite Poop. Welcome to Infinite Poop. You are watching Infinite Poop. Yeah. You are now watching Infinite Poop. That is an original, all copyrights reserved, yours truly. So here we go. We are going to get into some of this with you, and our goal here is to attempt to explain what CDI is and some of the complexities involved, and then we'll talk about some of the additional CDI sources. What is CDI? This is going to be for maybe your friends that are not too familiar with the poop. You could let them watch it, and then we're going to try to make this as enjoyable for fellow poopers as we can.
Absolutely. So CDI is a common source, is the best way to put it. It's also where the term spadinner comes from. And okay.
Yeah, and we talked about spadinner in the last episode, and spadinner, again, this is a word that you might not be familiar with if you're just getting into the poop.
There's a little bit of unpacking here for the uninitiated. CDI is the name of a video game system from the mid-90s. It wasn't that successful. It's not remembered fondly. And what it's remembered for is a rare instance of licensed Nintendo characters being allowed on a non-Nintendo platform. This was the CDI by the Philips Corporation. And they got a license to do a Zelda game and a Mario game.
Yeah, that's right. This is, okay, so CDI is both a reference to a video gaming system that was put out by Philips, and it may also be a reference in the community to the source material, these cutscenes that are actually in these CDI video games. So I'm going to just go ahead and read a little bit right now from the ChewWiki, and I'm getting this from August 26th, 2018, and this can be found at the Web Archive, so web.archive.org, or also known as the Wayback Machine. So the Philips CDI was a crappy game system that brought us the Hotel Mario and CDI Zelda games. Also lesser known hits such as Mutant Rampage, Body Slam, and CDI Golf. The games were known to be god-awful, with bizarre levels, bad controls, and weird storyline. However, the music in the game was actually pretty acceptable. They were principally built as kiosk machines for the shop displays, etc. They predated the PlayStation and were released at the time of 3DO, as well as other failed consoles. Okay, so that answers a pretty big question that someone might have, which is
pretty
that
informative.
This is Nintendo's chance to break into the CD market here. This is before PlayStation. They obviously wanted to get into the CD market. They must have seen it, understood that it was going to be part of the future, that this media format. And so this is what they did. So anything to add to that?
No, I think you about covered it there, you know.
Would you like to read this, or?
Oh yeah, sure. So, taking up, they were. Oh yeah, okay. The cutscenes in the Link and Zelda games were drawn by a Russian company who had never seen or heard of Nintendo or Dendy, the Russian NES clone. Well, you learn something every day. Damn. Hotel Mario's cutscenes were done by an amateur American. The cutscenes are enjoyed greatly by YouTube poopers and underground organization. Shortly
Oh,
after being fired by Philips, they were employed to produce a pilot for Krusty the Clown's TV show. Yeah. In short, this category contains everything YouTube poop related that has to do with CDI.
okay,
And
so that's
there's a
basically,
lot of links here.
yeah, there are, and so that's basically CDI. So now you know, and maybe you learned something new, even if you are in the pooper community here, just by what we read off here for you. Then that pretty much covers what CDI is. And so CDI has a number of sources. We're actually going to cover two sources here for you. We're just going to mention, or no, three rather. We're going to mention Link, the Faces of Evil. We're going to mention Hotel Mario, and then Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I wonder if you would like to explain the CDI advert.
Okay.
And now this is something that you pooped. We were talking about it a little bit just before, trying to understand if I asked you. I said, "Did you? What's the history of some of this?" You had some words on it, and I know you pooped a CDI advert, and I asked you if you were the first to do that.
Yeah, it's a funny story. If you poop a CDI commercial, it doesn't count as a CDI poop because it's the cutscenes from those games that are sacred. But this article here just goes on to describe the content of the CDI advert, and it does a pretty thorough job. Do you want me to read a little?
Well, I just wondered, did you have any goings with the creation of this wiki back in the day?
Goings with the creation of this wiki back in the day.
Did you help flesh it out?
I'm trying to remember because I did have wiki editing rights, and I did write some wiki articles. Something I showed you earlier. Florida, I wrote Florida for wiki, and
yeah, I remember you were writing some of this wiki stuff back in 2010 or 2011 or something. It was fun to come over and see you doing some of that. So go ahead. Why don't you just explain whatever you want to explain?
Yeah, I think I just wrote like the first part, and then the community kind of added on to it. Okay. The main character is Phil Jacobson, a hapless, middle-aged American who is sucked into cyberspace, drawing parallels to Alice in Wonderland, Tron, or the Nintendo Kid.
Let me just jump in real quick here and say the CD advert. So this is an advertisement for the CDI that occurred in the early 90s. This is what they were using to try to sell this system, which, you know, really had limited success in the 90s. It's not like every kid owned one of these. This was pretty rare and expensive at the time.
Yeah, and I remember this from my little youth as a little kid. This advert was in heavy rotation late night on cable. It was an hour-long show. So they put a lot of money into advertising because this thing is burnt into my brain. So this will sound very familiar to me. In the cyber world, Phil meets Wall, an all-knowing, Big Brother-esque, disembodied voice that comes from the giant screen that Phil is always standing in front of. Wall's goal is to amaze Phil with the capabilities of a powerful new technology called the Philips CDI, under the guise that he will tell Phil the meaning of life if he listens to the whole sales pitch. But often, Wall overwhelms Phil to the point where he cries out help, which always summons a new presence to the view screen, an emotionless woman in a white lab coat named Help. Help explains to Phil in great detail how to load the CD tray and is unresponsive to Phil's advances. In the middle of the infomercial, Wall is interrupted by his secretary Gladys, who informs him that he soon has to return Phil to the real world and that Daryl is in the system again. After a few more seconds of Wall showing Phil another awesome CDI title, the view screen becomes all fugly, and then we see Daryl on the screen. We learn that Daryl is a rogue CDI games designer that hacked the system so he could communicate with Phil. Daryl assures Phil that new CDI titles are still being made. Phil asks Daryl for the meaning of life. Daryl tells Phil that Wall will reveal the meaning of life to him if he buys a CDI system from Wall. Phil then summons help and asks her how to load the CD tray.
Okay, so basically this advertisement is Phil and the Wall. These are the main characters, and they talk back and forth, and Wall explains things, and now we've got Daryl, and Daryl is a video games designer it sounds like he's trying to assure Phil, who is thinking about purchasing the system, he's trying to assure them that, no, we do have media, there are plenty of games, which was one of the issues at the time. I mean, if you're coming out with a new video game system, you need a library. There was already the Nintendo, there was already the Super NES, of course, the Genesis, before the SNES, and the games market in general was really starting to explode again, especially in these early 90s. We were seeing a lot of different systems coming out. Let me go ahead and pick it up here.
Oh, okay.
When Wall finally regains control of the screen, Phil challenges him by saying, "I bet you don't even know the meaning of life." Wall punishes him for impudence by making him play CDI's flagship action title, Link, Faces of Evil. Phil summons help to ask her how to eat an Octorok, but of course, help only tells him how to load the CD tray. Wall then shows Phil the meaning of the word life from a dictionary. Phil summons help and asks her for the meaning of life. Help shows him how to load the CD tray. Wall finally convinces Phil to buy a CDI system, and Phil is returned to his reality, CDI in hand and $500 poorer. Yeah, that's a snarky Wall.
Yeah, it is a snarky Wall.
And this is the CDI advert. Just to close this up, the features of the CDI, a CDI disc can hold 250,000 pages of text data or 7,000 image files. Let's see here. CDI plays full-length feature Hollywood movies with the purchase of an add-on cartridge, hundreds of fully interactive titles. It plays music CDs, and the CD tray can be opened using the controller.
In other words, it was a hot game system. And
oh yeah, before Nintendo, came out with anything that would play on a CD disc.
And if you just need a disc that can hold 250,000 pages of text, well, we got you covered.
So the game mentioned in the advert, one of the games at least mentioned in the advert here, was Link, the Faces of Evil. Yeah. And I have that pulled up right now on the YouTube archive. And let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Yeah.
So the description, this is Link, the Faces of Evil. And again, this is a this is a game that was on the CDI system. And this game helped influence the poops that were made. Yeah. And the poops were actually created from the cutscenes on these discs.
1993, FMV would have been, that was like a big selling point in the console wars. Full motion video.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I mean, it's not like it was the first time that anybody had ever seen full motion video in a video game. Obviously,
but they never saw it like this before.
We had Dragon's Lair in the arcade itself, and that was a long time ago. I mean, whatever that was, 80, 81, maybe even late 70s. So,
yeah. So I'm just going to read here. Like Hotel Mario, this is a bad game made for the CDI and made by Philips, who invented the CDI.
It's a good good with a script through it. So it says good slash bad game.
Yeah. Its story is that at a peaceful day in Hyrule, Link got bored because there's nothing to do. King Harkonian, King of Hyrule, said that this is where all true warriors strive for. I think that's a typo on purpose. What all true warriors strive for. I think that's a joke. Then Link wonders what Ganon is doing at this moment. Right after it, Guanum, the carpet guy, is coming in the castle saying that Ganon has attacked Korodai. The king asks how he can help. Guanum is saying it's written that only Link can defeat Ganon. Link is happy to hear that and goes on another adventure. He first asked a kiss to Zelda, but she declined. After Link got on Guanum's carpet, Guanum says, "Squadala, we're off." And they fly away. Link asks...
Let me pick up right here.
Okay.
So Link asks what the heads are, he points to. Guanum explains those are the so-called faces of evil. Link has to defeat them before he can battle Ganon. But at first, a location is needed. Guanum let appear the map and asks Link where he goes first. It, along with Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon, are quite possibly the most frequently used poop sources. Because they have been used so many times, poops using them are usually considered repetitive. However, CDI videos can be amazing if done correctly. And I have to say, they really can be amazing because of the meaning they can squeeze out and put into them. I mean, they can literally take these videos, make them say anything, and it can be quite entertaining. I mean, it really some magic that these poopers can have with these. And tell me if this is something that you're familiar with or not, but the reason why these cutscenes have been used and stuff is because on the disc itself you can just pull the cutscene right off, right off the disc. Just grab the cutscene and bam, play it.
What I've heard about, and maybe we should have got the link for that. There was a site called Quebec Gamers, and they had the cutscenes from the CDI games on that site, and you could pull the videos off that site. That's how it got to be a popular source. It was an easy to obtain source.
So the thing that's really interesting, and it should be said about this, is that these CDI games, although they were Nintendo, I mean, this is Nintendo property. The thing that's most interesting about this is that they were really not what everybody else was expecting. You know, you're expecting a Mario game, you're expecting a Zelda game. These are really cutscene games. And a lot of people, you know, really the poopers kind of resurrected the CDI Nintendo games and made them something more powerful than what they were before. I mean, it's funny because a lot of us knew about these CDI games. We knew about these in the 90s. We knew about these in the mid 90s, late 90s, early ODOs, etc. But it really wasn't until the pooping scene took these sources and did so much art with them that it just put a completely new kind of life into them. And so these CDIs are very important into the scene and the art itself.
Yes.
And I mean, here's one of the interesting things that it says. So here on the Link Faces of Evil article, there is a subsection called Disliked By. And it says everyone, except maybe Cleveland and most definitely the person who made this article. And then additionally it says disliked by Nintendo because it's an ugly stain on an otherwise great franchise. Further information, it says, it is proven that this is the 7th best game ever made. It is still better than Twilight. And then it says Link Faces of Evil can be downloaded here.
And I tried that link, and it does It does not send dinner in a month. It oh,
Well, it does send you to QuebecGamers.com.
does it?
Yeah, it's sending you to QuebecGamers.com/impressions/CDI
I
slash
see.
faces_of_evil slash
Ah,
index.html. Yeah, it's embedded in the link. You could do some surgery on that.
yeah.
So the next one that I'd really like to look into here, since we're doing the CDI thing right now, trying to cover this for everyone. We've got a Hotel Mario.
Yeah, let's just move on to Hotel Mario.
Yeah, Hotel Mario. This is another game for the CDI. It's the Philips CDI, and it is well known for its infamous animations. Well, not the worst game of all time. It is still pretty bad. Year created 1994. The description, one of the main sources of YouTube poops because of its terribly scenes. It features the adventures of Fat Mario and Gay Luigi, and how they look for the princess to make them lots of spaghetti and toast. They also teach lessons about pinching back.
Wow. Yeah, Media Information, a CDI video game developed by Philips and Nintendo USA. Country origin, United States and Netherlands. 1994. And characters with emphasis seen in poops. Fat Mario, Gay Luigi, the princess, Bowser, and you.
You? What do you mean you? Who's you?
You is you, I guess? I could
You is you? Really? You get to see you? You are
know
a
what?
character? I guess you are a character. What?
Let's find out who you is.
Yeah, let's find out who you is. And let me say, first also, by the way, it says that this source was first used in a poop by Tetsuo9999.
Oh. See, okay, I get it. There's a line in the cutscenes, of course.
Yeah.
We got to save the princess, and you got to help us. And there was an odd emphasis, the way the voice actor said, and you got to help us.
Yeah, maybe a little fourth wall.
So you became a meme. Yeah, he points to the camera and says, you got to help us.
So it says here that this source in the poopers community, it says it is often used by pretty much everyone at one point in their lifetimes. Well, almost everyone. Have I used this source? Oh God, yes. Actually, now that I think about it, I was gonna say no, but that's not true. I did use it once.
Let's confess to our.
I don't remember where I used it.
For dinner.
So maybe one of my side projects or something.
Okay.
You've used it, yes?
Yes, I've used it once and briefly, but yes.
Yeah, briefly, man. I mean, it's the kind of source where unless you have something to truly contribute to this source,
I touched it as a nod and I
be careful.
Walked away. Yeah, I was careful.
You know, you respect the source and respect the community.
Yeah, sure.
So let's see here. Sometimes it was used by, let's name some names: Willy Tank, Ophios, Quacks94, Daft Punk Yoshi, the Nintendo Fan 1209. Disliked by retro gamers, Mario fans, people with no sense of humor to appreciate its cheese, anti-AIDS people, Screw Attack, and angry video game nerd. To name a few. We did mention already that when I said anti-AIDS people, that might have caught you off guard if you have any sense outside of the pooper community. And so the AIDS has something to do with the pooper community. And we actually have already discussed this. We have a podcast, a Poopcast, that we will be releasing at some point pretty soon, where we try to figure out what AIDS is, and there's also a special reference made to the war on AIDS, and we try to dig into that a little bit. I think we do a pretty good job of it for you guys.
I think, okay, what we have here seems to be, I think this is a full transcription, is what it looks like.
Actually, I'm interested. Would you like to read the further information section on this?
Further information, is that after the quotes?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. Was confirmed by Screw Attack to be the worst Mario game ever made, but some people believe Mario is Missing is the worst. Even Ouija himself hates playing it, though that could be due to the fact that he hates how the creators of this game portrayed him. However, they explain that Mario's Missing doesn't count because you were playing as Luigi. Mario, Luigi, and Bowser were all voiced by Mark Groria, who was willing to do an interview for YouTube. There are a few cutscenes that were produced, but were not used in the finished game. They have since put up on YouTube. Use them now. Main source for poopers, YouTube. Oh, yeah, QuebecGamers.com. The rough sound quality of QuebecGamers.com Hotel Mario clips are part of the reason why they are so popular. However, it is not recommended that you use them if you do not want to invoke ear rape, which makes them a poor candidate for sentence mixing.
And we actually have discussed the ear unconsensual adult relations with sentence mixing also in a previous Poopcast called Poopisms. These are Poopisms, and they are a style of editing for those of the non-initiate. So let's go ahead and move right on to the next one, and it is Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon.
Okay. And, you know, I mean, look, okay, this game is widely hated, and it's you know, it's a poorly executed game. I don't like playing it. I don't think anybody does. But they had a nifty idea, because all the Zelda games are called the Zelda games, and you always play as Link. This is the game where you're playing as Zelda. In a sense of the word, it is the truest Zelda game. In a sense of the word. Just saying, kind of a neat idea that you would play as Zelda is all I'm really saying about this.
Well, you do play as Zelda.
Yes.
In some of the more recent games. What game was it? And you're playing as Zelda. Or wait, no, fuck. No, I think I'm thinking of Mask of Majora, which, by the way, just for the fucking street cred, I've beaten those games. Personal favorite is Wind Waker. Just because, man, that one just blew me away. I thought, you know, the fucking graphics and everything, and you know, you're playing this little child. It looks just. I stayed away from that game because of the way it looked, and then as soon as I fucking picked up the controller and started playing, I was just fucking floored by it, man. It was fucking fantastic. And also, you don't really need to use a walkthrough or anything for it. I mean, it's just a fucking beautiful game. It's got to be. In my opinion, it's the most perfect Zelda game made. And, you know, it's got a different art style. So but the thing about it is that you actually, you get really used to the art style. You actually, I fell in love with the art style. So it was weird that I stayed away from it for so long because of the art style. And then I fucking ended up falling in love with it. But, you know, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Now, ooh, description. Blank. Nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing here. There's not much on Zelda the Wand of Gamelon here. Let's see, media information made by Philips, country of origin. So we have some different characters in this one. It says Zelda, King Harkinian, Link, Ganon, Mayor Travendish, Duke Onkled, Impa, Fari, Hected, Lady Alma, Almfuck, and Iron Knuckle.
Yeah, which they didn't make a page for. Duke Onkled, you know what Duke Onkled had to do.
No.
He had to scrub all the floors in Hyrule.
Oh, he scrubbed the ground?
Yeah, he scrubbed the ground. Yeah, I think if I remember, like I say, don't use this source much or at all. But, well, King Harkonnen, his famous line, a famous poop meme, it's like, have mercy. And then he says, not until you scrub all the floors in Hyrule. And I think Duke Onkled was I just open it up here. He was the traitor who his punishment was to scrub all the floors in Hyrule, which, yep, that's him. He's the floor scrubber. He scrubbed the ground. Please, yep. Oh my god.
Wait, they made a Duke scrub the ground?
Well, yeah, because he was a traitor to the kingdom. In his allegiance to Ganon, Duke Onkled gave the king of Hyrule over to Ganon in turn for fortune and overall material wealth. Oh yeah, you can see he has the bling there. Once Zelda rescued the king from Ganon, Duke Onkled's alliance with Ganon was shattered, and Duke Onkled was placed at the mercy of the king. As punishment for his treason towards the king, he was ordered to scrub all the floors in Hyrule, an order that was only put to an end upon Onkled's death, see below. Duke Onkled has a problem with constipation, causing him to constantly grimace.
Well, so this, I just want to mention that thank you guys for watching this, and we hope that this has been informative, both if you are new to poop, and also we hope you've had a good fun time if you are a pooper and you've been chilling out and watching the show. What we'd like to do right now is give you guys a brief moment to just kind of sit back and listen to some tunes, and then we'll be right back for a word from our sponsor. Thank you guys. Watching Infinipoop, the Poopcast. A Poopcast. Infinipoop's Poopcast. We hope you've been enjoying this Infinipoop Poopcast. Yeah, man. So,
yeah.
Mullet?
I got good news. I have great news. We have a brand new sponsor. I was just talking to them. They called me just now. They love the show. And we have a sponsorship from the Philips Corporation. It's about time. Over 20 years later, we have the CDI2 coming to stores near you. Pre-order online today.
Oh, wow. Wait, you mean you're telling me that they are now making a CDI Classic? I mean, shit, we've got the Nintendo Classic. We've got the Super NES Classic. We've got a Genesis Classic. The PlayStation Classic just came out. There's the Commodore 64 Classic. And now there's the Philips CDI Classic?
Yes. And this thing holds 1 million plain text pages.
What?
Yes, it has that much capacity.
Now, are you talking plain text characters, like ASCII characters, or are you talking...
I'm talking about a page.
A full page?
Yes, a file full of words. It holds 1 million of them. I know.
This
it's
is
big
awesome.
news. It's a lot to take in.
I'll tell you, you know what, though? In reality, we do need a CDI Classic. We need a goddamn CDI Classic with every fucking game on it. And then everybody can experience, you can experience playing poop in your living room, literally.
Yeah, yeah. The CDI Classic, of course, comes with the Zelda games, Hotel Mario, Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe, that weird space game, the NFL Trivia Challenge, all the great CDI titles that we all grew up with, you know, with the CDI in our house. I know I just have fond memories. I would spend 2, 3, 5 hours just playing, like, you know, NFL Trivia Challenge, Hotel Mario, all the classics. And, you know, trying to watch full-length Hollywood movies on the CDI.
So now, request it from your local video game store. We know those GameStops are starting to close up. Their stock is not doing so well. Help them now. Go support your local GameStop by purchasing the new CDI Classic.
Yeah, because I would even say, you know, here's a hot tip for you. Buy some CDI stock. And, well, not only some Philips stock, but buy some GameStop stock. Say that 20 times fast. GameStop stock. Buy some GameStop stock, because this is going to save the GameStop company. And that, you know, that stock's going to go up. And they're going to be back in business. That CDI Classic, I mean, I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Okay, so this has been a word from our sponsor.
Yes.
The Philips CDI Corporation.
Yeah.
Wants to thank you, all of you poopers out there, for making their product more than known.
Yes.
For making their product more than famous.
Yeah, for making it infamous.
The infamy of the CDI will live on in the underground with you. Buy now, before they're sold out.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, all right, that was a pretty little bit of bullshitting. But we do want to say thank you for watching. If you're watching, and we hope that we have done justice to these subjects in any way. And thanks for listening. And, you know, if you like anything, if you just want to support what we're doing here, just hit the fucking like button. And if you want to be notified when we make a new upload, hit the subscribe button, and you'll get a notification when a new one comes out. So let's do this thing, and thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, and whether you really understand what CDI is and you're just overly familiar with this whole thing, or you have no idea what's going on, we want you to watch, enjoy the show, you know, give that like button the business.
Yes, in fact, in a follow-up next episode, we would like to cover Mama Luigi. And Mama Luigi is one of the most used characters, one of the most interesting poop characters that has been literally created and nurtured by the pooping community. And then I'd also like to discuss Dr. Robotnik. I think if we were to be able to cover Mama Luigi and Dr. Robotnik, it would be very great.
Yeah, I'm thinking next Halloween we should be Mario and Luigi, but not the real Mario and Luigi. We should be Fat Mario and Gay Luigi.
No, I don't think so. I can't believe that you missed it, man. You missed it. No, you can be Dr. Robotnik. He's, you know, you got a belly on you. Robotnik's got a belly, and I'll be Luigi, or I'll even be Mama Luigi, and you be
That's actually a great
Mr.
idea.
Dr. Robotnik. I mean, that would go a little better.
It would make sense in the poop world more. Actually, you got that right on target. Because,
so let's do that.
Yeah, because people would wonder, why are you Dr. Robotnik and you're Luigi? They're not even the same game. It's a Nintendo and a Sega game. It's like, dude, we're cosplaying as a poop.
Poop cosplay. Oh, yeah, it's two of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're going to end this stream here. Thank you guys for watching. This has been a 43-minute episode, and we just really appreciate you guys
had a good time
watching. And reach out to us. Interested in an interview, we already have a backlog of interviews set up, and just go ahead and contact us as soon as you can, whenever, and let us know what time is best for you. We are really good about being flexible, and we'd like to just have you come on and have a chat with us and tell us about yourself and why you poop and what you poop, and so that we can understand why people poop and what they poop. It's very interesting to me. So thank you guys for watching again, and we will be back soon. Thanks.
Yes. Bye.
It's coming. You feel it? Christmas time. It's coming. Jingle bells, Batman spells, Robin late. Batmobile lost its feeling. The Joker got away. Yep. Here it comes. Coming again. Another Christmas. Gotta have it every year. Waking up early in the morning, what do I see when I go out in the front row? Wake Waking up early in the morning, going out in the front room, and what do I see? Right next to the bright flashing tree. Presents for me, presents from Santee. Presents for me from Santee. It's early, it's so early, the sun just came up. Can't wait to get out there. Yes, look at the tree, Santa came. Can't wait to rip these presents. I wanna rip these presents, a new one. Going through them. Oh, look at all the food I got. Oh, this is awesome. Santa really came through.